All right, well, y'all did real well. Remember how I do the clustering method of curving. So I'll take a look at the end of the course. I'll do a scatter plot of the various categories and everything. They usually clump up into two well-defined bumps on the exams and certainly throughout the entire course. Somehow this one didn't split as much, but this is like one person here, and this is, I think, 5. So Lots got a perfect score. Wow, how'd that happen? Congratulations. If this was it, if this is all I had to judge it on, right, then I guess I'd probably have to draw my line somewhere down around there, right? And certainly if you got always, 90, if you get above 90%, you know that independent of what everybody else does, you're guaranteed to get an A in the class. But there's usually a nice, clearly defined split between the A's and the B's. And I'm okay with not having any C's, but it sometimes happens. I'd rather it not happen. And so, I'd probably say there's the A-B line right there. This is one person. That one person, don't worry about the overall number here. Don't go jump in the river, right? And I think 70 is probably, 7 out of 10 is probably around in here somewhere. Or maybe it's there. Anyway, I don't have my glasses at the moment. You can look at that more carefully when it's, this will be scanned and posted. If this one person moves down on exam 2, then we might have a C happening. But of course, remember, can't curve a 0, right? So don't forget to turn in your term papers. All right. Any questions about grading and that kind of stuff? All right, and my apologies. The new TA, he knew how to do this, and he had uploaded homework, and it was the same format and everything. And I gave it to him 3 days before the exam. And, Friday night I'm hollering saying, I really wanted to look at it just to double check, triple check, and make sure it's on Moodle properly and everything's working. And he assured me, no, he's on it, he knows what he's doing. So I went ahead and went to bed, and somehow on a Saturday morning, I didn't wake up till 9 o'clock. How did that happen?
Must be nice.
Well, no kids, obviously, right?
Granddaughters came in at 7.
My body just wouldn't let me do it anymore if I wanted to.
I'm usually up at 5, or at least by 6 or 7.
The first test was really easy. I loved it.
Was it? Yeah.
It was pretty much homework questions exactly. It's hard to miss those.
Well, again, I think I'll just say I'm sorry about the snafus, and I certainly didn't want anybody to go into a panic seeing that things were changing while we were waking up on Saturday morning. It was very upsetting to me. I think it upset me more than it could have possibly upset anybody else. And I resisted the temptation to, you can imagine what, fill in the blank. But he's not involved in this class anymore. He's not fired. I got something else he can do, okay? That won't be so dangerous if he doesn't do it right.
Well, he certainly knows all the pitfalls.
Yeah, he knows how to do everything. But this class is just too important to me to
What about our
risk
homework?
that.
Was our homework going to be posted the next one, the number 3?
The homework 3 is coming. What did I say? It was going to go out today and be due. It's due a week from today, right? And we'll be doing solutions in class right then. So it'll probably post tomorrow, right? Along with probably at least one or maybe two extra lectures beyond what we're covering tonight. And we're still in good shape schedule-wise. And so, anything else along those lines? Because it's also, especially, I'll go ahead and admit it, I'm going up for tenure, some of you know, and so these are probably the most important teaching evaluations of my life, and to have that happen during this time, I was just like, oh, thanks a lot, because, you know, I put a lot of effort into this, and I think it's one of my shining points, and a lot of people don't look so much at teaching, but I do, and a lot of academians, they crank out papers like a factory, and that's fine, but I don't do that. And but I do write some good papers, but I'm kind of used to the school of thought that says you only do that when you want to put something down in the history books. Or I'm more from an industrial background, you don't want to tell everybody your good ideas, right? You want to be the first one in the marketplace with it, and so I'm used to kind of only I document in conference proceedings, which are just as good as the journals, but it's more like you just want to prove that you had that idea on that day, and you want to talk to your colleagues about it and all that. So it's a different style, so you know, I'm counting on my T-Vals to keep me from having to live under a bridge. Because I got a lot of knowledge to share. I mean, and I love teaching. Anyway, enough of that. Except there was a point along those lines. In terms of like doing research that we only work on with companies and such. You remember the COA aerospace and those drones and things like that? There's going to be an opportunity to move ahead on that. I was talking with a guy he's into the control systems that make the drones at Tech. He's an electrical engineer, Dr. Selmick. And I'm into the communication aspects of it, which is a really interesting environment for telecommunications, because it's not only wireless, but everything's moving and moving quickly. And security is a big issue, and you know, being able to prevent somebody else from grabbing your drone and also grabbing your information. So we're thinking about moving ahead with that, and the other day, was it just yesterday, we were talking about, well, why not get CenturyLink involved? Maybe CenturyLink could make some money on this. Maybe they'd have an interest, and I know some of you have expressed an interest on that, so let me continue to finish up babbling on that. There would be, right now, to control a drone, it's easier to control one from here to Afghanistan than it would be to fly a drone from Shreveport to here, and because it's all being done over satellite. And so we're seeing that there could be a real market for some company like CenturyLink, and maybe in collaboration with Verizon or somebody, to provide a service, drone communication service. We have wireless communication services. What about providing drone as a service?
They deliver their packages.
Yeah, exactly.
All those Amazon runs.
Yeah. Get your pizza by drone.
So, would you be saying that CenturyLink would be part of the security of the wireless connection?
Security or
Just the wireless.
as a provider of services, maybe in collaboration with a wireless provider that exists already. So think about it, talk about it. Send me an email if you want some more information on that, or because we're ready to move ahead on it. Okay, well let's do the exam solutions. Start with that.
Somebody mentioned that this would be a comprehensive, the next test.
Oh, good point to discuss. The next one probably will be about 50-50. Half on new material, half on old material. So it's not totally comprehensive in that sense. There will be a bias towards homework 3 will count as about half of the topics, and homeworks 1 and 2 together will count as the other half. Something like that, roughly about that. Thank you. Good point. Everybody okay with that? All right, so those of you over here have an opportunity to take out all that you learned and suffered through and kick yourself up over the line. Those of you up here, don't say, okay, I'm all set, because that's only half of it. Okay. All right, good. Variance is equal to the mean for shot noise, a Poisson process. Note, mean is also known as average and also sometimes called expected value. And remember when I said I want everybody to say that out loud? It was because I knew that this was an exam question.
That's not our exam.
Is that the second exam that you're giving
That's
to us?
what,
That's
that's question
number
number
10.
10.
Yeah.
This is the one, the good TA just emailed me because Moodle wouldn't even let me print out my own exam.
Yeah, that's not, that's
Yes,
question.
that second
That's
question.
question
Yeah.
10.
Maybe they're scrambled up.
We don't
No.
have to.
No.
That wasn't even
No.
here.
We don't have to.
Scrambled in order?
We didn't have that number 2.
Oh, crud. So he sent me one from the previous year, which I already have copies of those.
Present the next test, you should be taking really good notes.
Should we go ahead and write it down now?
Well, I've got 2 other versions of exam 1. It changes all the time. All right, so we'll have to edit this as we go. So question number 10. That's right, I remember that, and I did that on purpose, because this was later material. I mean, I carefully designed it to kind of go with what I thought your lecture notes might be arranged as,
Do
and
we
your
need to remember that number 2?
thought processes.
Since we don't have the solution yet.
Dang it, why did he do that?
I remember rat.
I want to be
Yeah, that's the
standing
other-
or nothing.
So this isn't gonna have all of them on there. Maybe I'll pause the camera while I dig up. I've got it printed, I've got the old ones printed out somewhere. Let me pause this for a second. Fumble through my notes, thanks.